what was called the situation from 1978 to 1984 in Guatemala. La situación, the situation. During that time, the government had decided that no one was to build schools because they would not allow the indigenous people to be educated anymore, because all they did was rebel against the government. And further, they decided that they would kill animals and kill the livestock and prevent anybody who was out there in the woods who would be rebels from being able to eat, and they would starve to death, and then they couldn't rebel against the government during the situación, during the situation. Thomas was 11. His father was building a school. His father wanted to finish that school. No matter what the government said, he was going to finish that school. And he did. No matter what, his life was threatened. No matter what, he finished that school. And on his way home, on his motorcycle, on the day he finished the school, shots rang out and he was murdered on the road home and left for dead. Juana told me her story. She had been at school studying to be a teacher, and she went home one weekend to see her family. And when she got there, there was no one there at her house. There was no one in her village. And the reason for that was they had heard a gunshot one night, late at night, and the people of the village went, "The soldiers are coming after us." And they left their homes and they went into the woods to hide so they would not be massacred. And there they stayed in hiding for 15 days. Juana did not know if her family was alive or dead, but she found them, and they were reunited. When they came home, of course, there was nothing left in their homes. Everything had been destroyed. Those were just two stories that I heard during recess on my first day of work while the kids were out playing. And my heart was broken in a moment. As we were driving home from work that day, after lunch, or in the afternoon about 2:30, one of the guys on the trip, one of our engineers, one of the fellows who knew what he was doing, was riding in the car saying, "I'm not sure what we're doing here. I don't know why we're here." And he was asking more than one question. He wasn't asking just one question. He was asking a lot of questions with that one statement. An intelligent man who had traveled all over the world and seen things you can't possibly imagine. War-torn places all over the world. And yet, he sat in the van and he said, "What are we doing here?" The question was, well, why are we here? Are we here to convert these people? Are we here to save these people? Are we here for our own self-aggrandizement? Why are we here? What are we doing here? What are we accomplishing here? And that's a legitimate question from an engineer who finds out that his assignment for tomorrow is to dig a 5x6 hole to put trash in. That's what you're going to do tomorrow. We need you to dig a hole. We need it to be 6 feet deep and 5 by 5 by 5 by 5 so we can put trash in it. We're working on the school and we're getting some wiring done and we're plastering a little bit to try to get those classrooms done, but we're not doing anything huge. We're not building homes. We're not installing stoves. We're just doing this. And we're playing basketball with the kids. Big Mike, who's 6'4", is out there playing basketball with the girls, and they love it. And so is his wife Lynn playing basketball with the boys and the girls. Well, the next morning, I had the meditation at breakfast, and I was awakened at 3:15 a.m. God always wakes me up then. I was awakened at 3:15 a.m. by that kick in the teeth parable that Jesus told the Pharisee. What I learned about this parable when I went to the Festival of Homiletics in May is something very, very important. And it's about threes. It's about trios. And I don't think I've preached it to you before, but I know I talked about it in the Bible study. Now, if I say, I want to talk about trios for just a sec. If I say Groucho, Chico, okay. If I say Patty, Maxine, Laverne, some of you know the Andrews sisters. If I say Huey, Dewey, Louie. If I say Jack, Bobby, Ted. You all know those trios. If I say Kirk, Spock, McCoy, right, or Sulu, and somebody else might say, if I said Groucho, Chico, Harpo, somebody else might say Zeppo, but not too many people. If I say Father, Son, Holy Spirit, you know exactly what to expect. Those are trios that have the third person expected in that trio. You know exactly who it's going to be. When the Pharisee asked the question of Jesus, who is my neighbor? And Jesus told him the story about the man going down from Jerusalem to Jericho, being beaten up and left for dead. And the priest passed him by, and the Levite passed him by. The third person expected in that trio was the Pharisee. The hero was expected to be the Pharisee, the scribe, or a Judean. That's the blank. You say priest, Levite, Judean. Priest, Levite, scribe. Priest, Levite, Pharisee. That's who's supposed to fill in that blank. And what happened when Jesus told him that story was he kicked him in the teeth. And he said, but it wasn't who you expected. It was the one you didn't expect. It was the Samaritan, who was the one who showed mercy to the man left for dead. When Jesus asks the question, punchline, he says to the man, who is the neighbor of those three, of that trio? Who is the neighbor? And the answer is, I can't even say Samaritan, the answer is the one who showed mercy.